I'm sending it down to his front.
I'm excited about this opportunity to move forward to create a comprehensive plan for LA County that both reduce the jail population and eliminates money bail.
They won't do well in the Twin Towers, will they?
The plan that you're adopting, but also
especially the women.
The recommendations. First, in order to develop a plan to responsibly eliminate bail in LA County without increasing jail detention, it should prioritize pre-arraignment or pretrial release, including having people assessed within their first 4 hours of custody and transferring pretrial services to the Office of Person Reentry and or the Department of Services. That would include posting throughout all the lockups your right to have a pre-assessment release.
What makes them so special?
Second, replace risk assessment instruments which have
These
been
garbage
racially
going on, they let go on,
with
all
needs
this
and
killing
strength
and everything.
assessment that focus on recognizing and connecting people to resources in our families and communities. Third, reduce arraignment periods in LA County to put us in line with other
what I'm going to do to her.
From 48 hours for adults and 72 hours for youth, not including weekends and holidays, to 24 hours for everyone,
Her
including
organization's
weekends and
one of the ones
holidays.
that told me to die when I used to work with
Next picture,
them.
please.
I'm Elizabeth Gonzalez. I'm with the Youth Justice Coalition.
I used to.
I am in support of the bail. The majority of people who are
I'm
charged
for
bail
California,
and
man.
according to the
You know what that is?
43% of people arrested are
Kings?
unemployed. Most of which have a margin of job. Finding these are systematic ways to destroy one's economic
Because the
stability.
black community is so crooked.
People who are affected greatly are working class and low-income families,
And they
especially
killed
women
celebs,
who make
and they
up
came for me.
83%
You got it?
population of those who pay these bills.
Because they don't want our civil rights.
This British family is
And I know the black community is starting to really miss them. I understand they killed celebs because they're telling me so.
To any of these bills we can find.
Now that's ugly. And they're trying to kill me right now. They gave me umbilical.
Hi, my name is Isabella Morton. I'm a psychiatry resident at UCLA and West LAVA. I also work at Project 180, a community-based treatment program serving justice-involved individuals. I support pretrial reform, specifically diversion, which includes using a needs assessment instead of a risk assessment. I work with so many individuals who've been incarcerated for symptoms of their mental illness. For example,
you know who the avatars are?
911 call, the result of their paranoia and
Buddha?
hallucinations,
Confucius?
or regaining the
No.
spark after hours
Go to your
of their
dictionary.
homeless. They can end up in jail for a year because they're sick,
Jesus,
can't navigate the system, or advocate for themselves.
I didn't
Incarceration
force you
leads
to call me that.
additional
I'm the
trauma
guy
which can
who
exacerbate
shut down
mental
the jail
illness.
system 4 years ago
Worsening paranoia,
and eliminated the
increasing
Office of
risk
Public
suicide, and
Safety.
making it harder to
So
seek
they're
close relief.
throwing me into the
As a
state
mental
mental
health
hospital.
professional, we
Because
know
I'm
how
a
to
fucking
treat
judge.
patients. They must be
How
managed
did I
in
just
mental
write an
settings and not
8-page
behind bars. The
federal
jail is not a hospital.
injunction?
I'm here to
It was
support
checked by the supervisor.
pretrial reform, also to
Federal
support
court
increased
clerks
diversion and
2
oppose the
times
plan
in its
for a new
purpose.
mental health jail. A jail cannot be a place of treatment and recovery. Thank you.
Thank you. Next
I
picture,
work with
please.
FACA, every bit of legislation that fits AB 109, that's my research behind it. So naturally, I'm stupid, huh?
Here in Los Angeles and also in New York City.
So they're doing that to me, what do you think
I
they
want to
do
make
to
it
everybody
simple
else?
but consequential point that by the time
I was
patients
protected in
arrive
the
in
Twin
jail
Towers.
and mental
I
health
saved a
services,
man's life and then
they have been
they
identified as
killed
potential
the
criminals,
Twin Towers, a
threats,
white guy in a
and
suit.
first and patient second. The
I know
reason
the
they
seventh
were
one.
identified as such is totally lost. So to reverse this
I
process,
couldn't
clinicians
tell.
should be involved at every point along the road that leads to this
I've
result.
been denied healthcare for 5 years, I'm telling you right now.
The county has experimented doing this with police response teams and other...
I'm not going to last another
But there's
year.
much work still to be done. Following such efforts...
And they're trying to eliminate me right now.
Healthcare clinicians during pre-arraignment screening.
So I'm going to eliminate them. Only they do
So
it illegally.
so conversion needs to be done in close collaboration with...
I'll go kick their ass. I love federal injunction.
Incarceration and decriminalization.
They want to do public speaking illegally. I'm ready to file another injunction on them. I gave them the laws in 2012, they don't follow.
Criminal Justice Reform Committee. First of all, thank you to Supervisor Solis and Kuehl for
See the
developing
general
this
counsel,
pretrial
marry the
model.
wicked Wickham.
As a member of Benny Arc, who worked closely to pass the SB 10,
And they have to watch me organizing in this trash pit.
amended, unrecognizable.
That's psychological
I
warfare.
urge the board to have a truly transparent process
Remember Doa
for
Heaven
pretrial
Gate?
reform.
The 29 people found the
Unflinching
identities?
focus
I only
on the
managed
goal
to
of
share.
pretrial release and decarceration.
I didn't take out one cold, I
Most
took out 4.
importantly, I call on the board to be guided by the moral mandate that the
They had
accused
to
are
remember it's in
innocent
San Diego.
until proven
When my
guilty
friend called in and
and
told
should
him I
be
had to
treated
share.
as such.
The radio station went nuts for 2 hours.
Thank
They wanted
you.
to buy it,
Next picture,
sit in it,
I'm Julie
had
Allen,
stories about it.
longtime
And then at the end he says,
human rights
and he ain't
activist,
giving it up because nobody more's going to die over it.
I worked a lot on money bail recently for past SB 10, and I too was disappointed by its reality. I think the goal of pretrial reform has to remain decarceration. Fully transparent process is really important, and I really commend Supervisor Solis and Keel for working with community coalitions, and that's part of the process.
Dissolve and transport.
Replacing the repressive money bail
I
system.
told them that would happen, well, for half an hour it didn't, so they had to call the meat wagon.
Algorithms.
So I didn't drunk in their house one night, drinking the stained glass window
We need to have
for the magic
no risk
chair.
assessment instruments.
And then I traded some other shit back and put my window back.
Calling people when their trial is happening.
Like that?
Texting or
Don't
driving
fuck with
by
the G.
to court things, things like that.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
See, like I like to record all the speakers, I don't record their fully stuff.
If I may,
Except I did get Sharon on this
I'd like
one.
to rename the risk assessment
Just wanna
instrument
tell 'em
as
I'll
a
put
risk
them
assessment
to
tool.
prison.
Other words, a RAT. Leave it at that.
Attempted homicide.
Rats are very destructive, right? That's what it's going to do to our community.
Get me in
I don't
trouble.
call them speeches, I don't call them eloquently written. I just call them
This
how I
is
lecture
what
about.
the
And I just tell you this.
8
How
times
you
a
are.
day, I have to
I'm 17, I'm available, it's
I've
almost
woken up
$1,000.
with pain. My bones feel like they're exploding.
Any risk
And from
assessment
here
tool
to
that you
there,
use
I have
at
this
the time,
dramatic
job,
rash on my legs.
you're in a low
It's
income
itchy,
community,
scratchy.
et cetera, all the negative things that go
So,
into
do you
these
think
tools
I'm
that
happy
get
with
weighed. And at the end of the day,
I'm here for everything.
ability or not, I still would have
I'm a
gotten
capable
it. So it made
guy.
a difference. You would still lock me up.
Doing this
And
now,
all my other
people
friends that were with
got
me,
nothing going.
growing up in my neighborhood, the same old thing. No matter how old they were, they were all so they
I'm
know how to
protected by the gangs.
We were all stuck in jail. Most of us went to the
A lot of guys think I get my hands eaten, right?
So, and the risk assessment
Who I
tool.
was, I taught him
we
law.
need
Asked me to join.
Thank you. Next speaker,
Except
please.
the law asked me to join.
Hello, good afternoon, Honorable Chairwoman, members of the board. My name is
I
Elisa
said,
Hernandez,
"No, I'm not doing
campaign
that.
coordinator for Just
I'm here
Leadership
to
USA,
put you
a
on
local
the
national
even
nonprofit
level.
working to cut the
So I taught 'em law.
issued by half in 2030 in the
Well,
U.S.
the case is
I'm also a
changed.
member of the Justice LA Coalition and a
Even
resident
save
of
a guy with a
First
homicide.
I want to start off by telling Supervisor Solis.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
For the motion that you put forward.
That's a nice
Hopefully
lady.
it'll lead us to a pretrial system that is responsive to the needs of LA County. We support the intent of the motion,
You on this one,
but
Eric?
not without some concerns. SB 10 intentionally expands the use of RAIs, risk assessment instruments, which is nothing more than biased math. RAIs
Over here.
are outlined on the surface, but they are based on factors that are highly correlated with race, class, and also significantly influenced by pervasive practices in the criminal justice system and policing and arrest.
Yeah, where's that
I also
thing?
support the community on this motion
There it
and to move forward removing the use of risk assessment instruments. Each one of you has put forward great motions addressing and investing in mental health services and adult diversion and so much more. You're doing the right thing. Please know that you're doing the right thing. Don't let your legacy be building a mental health jail when we're in a crisis that can be solved with community-based services, not jail beds.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, my name is Yvette Olay. I'm with Californians United for a Responsible Budget and the Justice LA Coalition. For the families and individuals harmed by our current pretrial system, ending money bail is a piece of an overall goal to decarcerate. SB 10 exposed many things, including the short-sightedness of treating it as a single-issue policy fight, as well as the need for transparency and community involvement. Thank you, Supervisors Kuhl and Solis, for bringing this motion forward. I'm encouraged that this board is moving in a different direction. This motion can be strengthened, however, by mandating the creation of a community-led pretrial work group. Pretrial detention only compounds trauma and violence. It harms public safety, and everybody knows this. Decarcerating our pretrial population is the fastest and most effective, cost-effective way of alleviating the deplorable conditions inside our jails while supporting public safety in the community. This board is unprecedented in its embrace of alternatives. Thank you, Supervisor Ridley Thomas.
One. Yeah, thanks.
Supervisor Barton.
111.
For your support of community-based mental health treatment. I know you care, because your actions tell us so. However, trying to legitimize risk assessments will undo all the good diversion work you are doing. It's time to implement a bold pretrial model that unequivocally makes new jails obsolete.
Thank you very much.
I'm here to support the child reform that replaces bail
with the monetary
starting with the
expense,
second one.
and not necessarily
To
using
right,
risk assessment.
starting to the end.
It should be centering
We have this
community-based
gentleman,
responses,
and Mr.
and
Burgess,
really looking at
and
the
they still
reasons
need to
why
qualify.
pretrial populations.
Well, you guys got a lot of major issues today.
Poverty, for things like stealing, loitering, all of those types of things. Rather than jailing, we need to be concerned that the reasons why people are being placed in jail and being able to develop pre-booking diversion programs that allow people to be centered back into the community rather than being in jail, that allow them to get access to mental health resources, substance use treatment, and workforce development program. Rather than provoking more trauma by jailing populations, being able to prevent that by diverting them to programs that will actually help them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Lex Stepling. I'm the Director of Campaigns and Policy at Dignity and Power Now, as well as a proud member of the Justice LA Coalition. Thank you for this motion. Thank you for being willing to take innovative and bold
I'm always ready.
pretrial reforms.
It's a Boy Scout motto, be prepared, man.
Brother Solis mentioned earlier about being one of the largest pretrial populations in the country. We are the largest pretrial population in the country, and it's not even close. We all aim to do away with that distinction.
Should be up on
Number
YouTube
one,
tonight.
not only in the country, but in the world, and we do not
Hit
achieve
everybody, man.
that without real pretrial reform, and we do
I want
not
people to hear
achieve
from the real
real
people.
pretrial reform if risk assessments are attached to that reform. Risk assessments are in effect the automation of racial profiling. They cannot be divorced from the bias factors that inform the whole criminal justice system, and the idea that they can be validated is a misdirection and a misleading. So we have an opportunity to continue going in this exciting direction. We commend you, we commend your bravery, and we hope that we can do away with risk assessment institutions. Thank you.
so much.
All right.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. My name is Zachary Hughes, in representation of Community Coalition. Here with the position that we do not support the risk assessment tool currently because the motion blocks community input. Now, what we propose is that we incorporate a new risk assessment program that focuses on the people with most needs in the community, like people who are homeless, who have been addicted to drugs, and those who have been affected by mental health. The program is called Jenny and Jesse, which has been in relation to Cine, which has been incorporated in LAUSD, which has been very profitable. We at Community Coalition wish to work closely with you and the Board of Supervisors in order to provide help in finding other community centers that's willing to help those going through the pretrial assessments and the diversion programs in order to find the right help that they need. Thank you.
Excellent.
Next speaker, please.
Excellent.
Coalition, the Director of Organizing, and I'm also here as a family member relative of those who've been incarcerated and coming back home with very little capacity and support on the local government side. And so I wanted to speak and echo the concerns that have been listed around the risk assessment tool. Again, the risk assessment tool, if validated, will be applied to folks who've been coming from marginalized communities and further perpetuate racial and social disparities, specifically for communities of color like South Los Angeles. My second point is that I think that right now would be the time to really do a robust community engagement and not do business as usual, that can really engage those who've been most system impacted, as well as CBOs. And so it's important that we just not advise with different department heads but we actually go into the communities that have been most impacted to come up with real tangible solutions to address the root cause of the problem.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Where you going? Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Russo with the Advancement Project. Again, excited to see that y'all are moving ahead with bail reform, which is an important step towards ending mass incarceration, especially in Los Angeles County, where we have the second most racially disparate incarceration system in the entire state. The details matter a lot, though. We share a lot of these concerns about risk assessment tools, just reiterating the racial disparities that are already in the system. And we were gratified to see some of our work called out in the motion. We're excited to work with you all to share some of the data that we've collected. It's important that that's about guiding resources and helping invest in community-based services that can supplant
Have you guys up on
this
YouTube
idea
tonight?
of delivering services within the justice system, which we know does not work as well.
I got all the
But
speakers
certainly
up.
data is no substitute for community engagement. We think a really robust process to so we would speak with the folks and the neighborhoods that are most impacted.
see me and I'll do it.
That the plan that's right is really important. Thank you. Look forward to
You'll
working on that.
want to know what I know.
We have one more person to call up for the next speaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With me is Pat Robbins, please come forward.
Okay, George Bazzetti. Do you all remember 4 years ago when I came in here and shut down your stupid jail program, huh? Because you fools for 10 years couldn't analyze the damn jail program that varied ratios of 2 to 3 to 1 and differences in costs and such. Now, in 4 years, you can't figure out what the hell to do because you're a bunch of incompetent idiots, obviously, and sociopaths. What we determined to do there, and even that idiot who's on my federal injunction, Jackie Lacey, came out and said, George is right. We're only going to do half of it. We're only going to put in jail the violent people. And the rest we're going to put out and giving them services. And in 4 years, how many lives have you destroyed, you sociopathic pigs? Huh? Now you do this to adults, so what the hell are you doing to the youth? Well, I know. Because you don't care if 120 to 150,000 come to school at LA Unified because you're porking up Dr. Sharon and your criminal justice system, fools. Yeah, I know you wouldn't like that. It's the truth.
Go ahead.
And you know it.
Go ahead.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. My name is Sam Zidovetsky. I'm an ER doctor. I trained at LA County and now I work in Riverside County actually. I'm with the Justice LA Coalition. I feel a little bit helpless. You know, I treat patients every day as recently as last night. On overnight shift, mentally ill patients who are acutely psychotic. And the last thing I want to do is put them in a place that's going to worsen their symptoms and worsen their psychoses. And so sometimes I'm kind of forced to put them in jail and have them taken by police officers to jail. And I just
Did I give it to you?
have a better
Oh, here.
pre-diversion program.
Let me get something to write on.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
here it is.
Next speaker.
Good afternoon,
Oh, I
Supervisors.
thought you were with the other guy.
Justice LA.
Okay.
And from my office network.
Yeah.
Here just
Well,
really
okay,
encourage
well,
you
good, I'll give it to two.
full step.
That's even better.
Child reform in this moment.
Because we're going to stop this crap.
Great steps around the
They know it's coming down, don't they?
around our jails, and yet we have a long way to go. The reality is that in order for pretrial...
They don't like the truth, do they?
This county
Why shut that fucking jail project down? You see them get squirrely? That's why.
Can't tell you how many times...
4 years they can't figure out what to do.
Who should not have ended up in jail.
I told them just what it was, didn't I? You can go watch it on video.
Whatever charge they're being charged, but do not want them in jail, and yet they're ending up in jail pre-trial. We have to boost up our pre-trial services, really enhance and resource community-based treatment so that the entire ecosystem can move us towards decarceration. And lastly, I just want to present you with
That's what I was talking about, wasn't I?
right now of over 3,000 signatures from folks who want you to keep moving in this direction of full pre-trial.
Here you go.
But also not build this mental health jail. It includes
Anytime.
over 40 mental health providers in the jail, over 250 healthcare providers.
My goal is to create 1 million people that are like Fraud Buster.
Across the state, or looking at the direction that you're going to take here.
Thank you.
That's what I am.
Next speaker, please.
Nobody knows more about budgets than I do.
Okay, good. I need you.
Justice LA.
Let's all work together to save our youth and everybody else. But without our youth, we got nothing.
About the risk of
Definitely a job is
school.
going to take
It
counselor
includes zip
from
code
a
and
freaking
educational level,
background. I got a certificate of freaking rehabilitation, been out of penitentiary since 1998.
Let's all work together.
I'm going over
You
here
know that
now.
other psychiatrist is up speaking with me before? We're getting together too.
Double pre-trial
Okay.
detainees. We propose that
I call it
there
the
be
giant
no
brain. It's like a giant
pre-trial
parallel
detention
processing
for
computer like the
low-level
pigs use.
alleged
All they're
offenders
running is
and
our flexible
judicial
minds, it's giant
assessment
computers.
on a
And
case-by-case
nobody knows everything,
basis
so we
for
put it
more
all
serious
together.
pre-trial
We got a real
alleged
complete
offenders.
picture together.
Doing away with
You guys have
pre-trial
all been in the dirt like I have been, so
instrument is
we know what's
crucial
really
to
going
making
on.
pre-trial process
like the
just
truth.
and reduce people in pre-trial
We're
detention.
dead without the truth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. My name is Lydia Cubitt, and I'm an attorney for Bail Project. Our national revolving bail fund model, which is now operational in several cities across the country, including Compton, pays bail for low-income individuals and then provides them with court date notifications, referrals to voluntary services, and
and ongoing pretrial support, including transportation services as needed. To date, our model has supported over 95% of clients in making all court appearances. On behalf of the bail project, I commend Supervisor Solis and Kuhl for introducing a motion that would begin the critically important process of reforming the pretrial justice system here in LA County. We believe that the primary goals of any reform plan must be twofold and clearly stated. First, to dramatically reduce the use of pretrial detention, and second, to combat the racial and economic disparities that plague the system. Through our experiences in Compton and elsewhere, we have gained important insights that we are eager to share with the board as it develops a model for reform that advances these goals.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
My name is Michael Nishimura. I'm a client advocate at the BOS Project. I work directly with people in pretrial detention to help advocate for their release and assist with their return to court. Our experience in Compton proves that pretrial release to one's community with court notifications and social services support constitutes a viable alternative to unaffordable cash bail. One of our first clients in Compton was a 57-year-old man from Linwood who sat in jail for 35 days without being convicted of anything simply because he couldn't afford $30,000 cash bail. Needless to say, someone from a more affluent neighborhood charged with the exact same thing would not have been in the same situation. Through working with his public defender to reduce his bail, we were able to secure his release and connect him with social services tailored to his need. Because he fought his case from a position of liberty, and in the end, his case was dismissed, something we frequently see when people can make decisions on other cases based on law and evidence rather than desperation. Had my client been reduced to risk factors, his needs seen through the lens of risk, he would have been sitting in jail still or have pled out. No trial, no evidence, just to get out. Like unaffordable cash bail, risk assessments turn the presumption of innocence on its head. I urge the Board of Supervisors to reject this approach.
Thank you.
I'm Jeremy Tramer. I'm a resident of Supervisor Keel's district, and I'm also with White People for Black Lives. We support ending money bail, but we do not want to replace it with another discriminatory system. We do not want to replace one system of caging people who have not been convicted of a crime with another system of caging people who have not been convicted of a crime. I urge all of you to listen to these experts, not just academic experts, but people who are experts because they've actually lived through the blatant injustice of our bail system. I think that Supervisors Solis and Kuhl want to be on the right side of history with this, which is why they have introduced this motion. And I want to make it clear that these activists who so forcefully and convincingly spoken out against money bail are also against spending billions of dollars to build 2 new jails in this county. And the fight against these jails is unmistakably another front in the same battle. So if you're against this money bail and you want to be on the right side of history there, be on the right side of history with these jails as well and oppose the construction of 2 new jails. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
How y'all doing? Jacob Jackson with Youth Justice Coalition, and I just wanted to say I'm not for fine fees and bails and all that because, you feel me, I'm in a situation right now where my mom, she's 66 years old, she's still working 2 jobs, you feel me, she works at night too, so she ain't always home, and you feel me, she's an old woman, she should be getting rest, she should be tired, and she should be, you know, provided in a different way. But they denied her request to get money, so it's like, it's really hard to ask somebody to do something if they ain't got nothing to give. And it's really wrong to say a pretrial too, because how you gonna have somebody plead guilty? Even though they might have committed the act, there's always something done for the right reasons, and they shouldn't always be sentenced for a longer sentence than they should, no matter what the cost is. I just feel like we should just not pass that, so yeah, it's good.
Thank you. Last speaker.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Leon Kasravi, and I'm the founder and director of the Avalon Institute for Applied Research. I've been doing research and advocacy on criminal justice issues for the past 18 years. An algorithm is a poor predictor of a person's potential. Risk assessments use algorithms, which are essentially, as you know, mathematical equations, reducing human beings to statistics. And who are these human beings we're talking about? It's LA's current and future pretrial population, mostly people who are poor and mostly people of color. Now, the criminal justice system is indeed in need of major reform, and I commend the Board of Supervisors for tackling a key component of that reform, which is pretrial detention and bail reform. But we must not repeat the mistakes of the past, one of which is egregious and extreme racial disparities. And risk assessment tools inherently rely on disparities that exist within the criminal justice system, such as you know, criminal history, a person's socioeconomic status, and their neighborhood, for example. So I urge you to come up with a better substitution than repeating mistakes of those.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your testimony.
Only 3 of them there.
Supervisor Solis, and then Supervisor Berger has a few.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank all the individuals that came forward to speak on this item. Obviously, we have some tremendous challenges at stake, in part in Sacramento with legislation that was passed that now may set us back a bit. That's why we're moving in this direction. That's what this motion attempts to do, to bring, I think, the best of minds together so that we can really set a good example of what could be done in one of the largest counties with the largest number of individuals that are detained and held with sometimes outrageous bail that in many cases is, as we've heard today, not effective. It can ruin the lives of many people. I would ask, Madam Chair, that before we move on the motion that we make an adjustment to include victim rights organization. Supervisor Barger would like, and I've accepted that, to allow for those organizations to be a part of the groups consulted in developing the recommendations as we move forward.
Without objection. Supervisor Barger.
Thank you. I just actually would like to thank you for agreeing to put that in. While this is certainly not a gender issue, it is important to note that roughly 80% of our inmate population is men. Conversely, over 65% of the victim population is women. I believe there is a final piece missing from the puzzle, and including their perspective will help create better informed policy in this space. And so I appreciate you accepting that and bringing in that amendment. So with that, I move.
Thank you. Okay, item 12 is before us as amended. Moved by Supervisor Solis, seconded by Supervisor Barger to approve this item. If there are no objections to a unanimous vote, that will be the order. And now we are at 52A, held by me. Colleagues, the reason